Hi everyone, I'm George Mille at the 1916 Company, and I'm honored to be here today with the one and only Mr. Wonderful, my friend Kevin O'Leary. Kevin, thank you for being here with me today.
Great to be here, George, and I'm happy because we got watches here.
We certainly do, many of which are on a red strap. It's why I made sure to wear my red
These
tie.
are some of my TV watches. They all have red bands, as people know, and I love the way they look.
Many of your watches, certainly not all of them, but we wouldn't have time to do that.
There's some very interesting ones in here.
All right, so let's dive right into it. You told me earlier, your first watch is this Omega Speedmaster. I'm very eager to hear the story as to how it became yours.
1970s, probably mid-1970s, walking with my stepdad, who was introducing me to the world of horology in Geneva, Switzerland, on Lake Léman, which is called Lake Geneva, Mont Blanc Boulevard, and some of the great brands had their huge retail stores. And but he really believed that you had to earn your own watch. You had to save and buy it yourself. He didn't ever want me to borrow money to buy a watch. He said, why don't you just save up and we'll go and we'll go look at watches. And I couldn't afford a Rolex, but I fell in love with the Moon watch. This is the original Moon watch. In terms, for me, it was a magical moment when I put it on as a teenager, and I still have it today. It's such a classic. And you know what's great about it, George? They haven't really changed.
Right, I know.
The
Looks
DNA
very
of it
similar
all
to
this time.
a watch, the Speedmaster you would buy today.
And as the decades went by, I continued to wear it. And then, of course, when red bands hit for me on TV, I had a special one made, which I think looks great against the black.
Yep, with the black rubber
I cherish
inlay.
this piece because of the history I have with it.
Right.
You know, it's just, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
The sentimental pieces, you know, mean so much more, right?
Yeah.
Let's go to the second sentimental piece. You said your first deal watch is this Cartier Santos, right?
Yeah, yeah. So,
Tell me about it.
So I decided in my life that watches would mark special events. Birth of children, deals, girlfriends, wife. I only have one wife, thank goodness. And so it was sort of that when I did my first transaction. It wasn't a big one, but it was my first deal. I always loved Cartier. I love the look of it. And this is actually a very small diameter, but it really looked great. And I got a history with this brand, and I bought this piece. They don't make the 3 gold anymore. But I'll never forget, you know, that deal, that partner, that moment, and getting this piece. These 2 pieces are you know, for me, priceless because of what they represent. But I still love wearing this. I just love it.
What year was that?
Oh my goodness, it had to be 79, 80.
You've made a few deals since then.
Oh. But nothing is as important as this one. But it was way back. Yeah, it was great.
Love it. All right, so let's go to a big conversation piece, okay?
Yeah.
Whenever you put this one on, I am sure eyes gravitate towards it. There's nothing really like it. Talk about this black and steel diamond piece with the dial made by Anita Porchet, who is considered to be one of, if not the best enameler in all of Switzerland.
This piece is a piece unique. There's only one in the world. It was auctioned for charity. The watch world knew about this piece. It was in the Phillips auction in December. And Paul Boutros, who's become a very good friend of mine, said, Kevin, unfortunately, you're going to want this piece. And I say that, unfortunately, because you're not the only person on earth that wants it. But I'll hold the paddle for you, which is an honor, you know, in a Phillips auction to get Boutros to hold your paddle.
Right.
I fell in love with it like you did. It's a very, very simple caliber. It's a beautiful piece of art. And unfortunately, the word got out that Anita fired the dial in the FP Journe factory, which is in itself legendary. So the buzz was Chanel, number 1, beautiful work of jewelry. 2, Anita, who she's just legend.
Right.
And then, of course, Journe.
Right.
You put all of those together.
Quite the trio.
The range was 60, 80,000. It didn't even stop there. It
Right.
didn't, I mean,
it went for 4 or 5 times that.
Yeah, 4 or 5. $222,000. I was the final hammer on it. I was frustrated because this guy in Singapore would not stop. But you can't mess with Mr. Wonderful.
Right,
like
that's right. You put on the refuse to lose.
Yeah, I said, I'm going to own that watch when it's over. And I'm glad it went for charity. But you're right. In terms of dial, it's so striking. It's a conversation piece.
Most certainly is.
I've been wearing it for the last couple of months on television, and every female anchor I work with goes nuts.
Right. That's a watch that is what I would call a unisex watch. A lot of these watches are
Yeah,
now,
no,
where
I
men
like
or women.
But you're right. Your eye went right to that because it's a spectacular piece unique dial.
Can't miss it. Very different. Let's go to another piece unique watch while we're at it. So AP, one of the major watches, obviously they're known for the Royal Oak since back in '72. They're also known for their skeleton work, the double balance. This particular skeleton piece unique, ruby bezel. Talk about this one, how you got it, the process by which you got it.
Yeah, Francois was the CEO of AP at the time, and we were talking with some of his team in New York about what could work on Shark Tank, what could be an amazing Shark Tank watch, something that really, really embodied the red band, elements of red, and we talked about ruby, and of course skeleton, and a sweep hand that's red as well. And he said, Kevin, this is gonna take years. I mean, this is a piece unique from scratch here. A lot of these elements, it's the only time. And we went through multiple designs. I had some friends over in the United Arab Emirates that really, really like that brand, and I worked with them on some of the options. Some of those are the rulers of the UAE. Got some great ideas from them. And it was a collaboration to do the digital design, and then finally went into production, and then it took a year. And when I finally received it, I actually wept. It's out there on the internet. I cried because it was beyond anything I could imagine. It was more beautiful than I thought it was going to be. Because renderings and digital renderings are great, but when you actually hold the piece, it's so hard for me to wear this because it's almost uninsurable.
Right.
You know, that's the problem. In fact, this is one of the watches that got me involved in insurance. WonderCare, that we're partnering with the 1916 company with for watch insurance, this is one of the driving pieces. That I could get a policy for this and be able to switch it on and off when I wanted to.
It's hard to put a number on that, though.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've got an armed guard downstairs because I can't lose this piece.
Right. It's always nicer when a watch commemorates a certain occasion, a person, a celebratory event.
I think a majority of pieces like this really are tied to something in someone's lives.
Right.
You deal with people every day.
Yep.
They must be coming in saying, look, my son just graduated, I want that steel wet-faced Daytona, whatever it is. It's moments, and that's why watches have remained for hundreds of years very important for people.
Right. Some you can't put a value on, like we said.
Well, so many of these you can't put a value on.
And it's also cool when you're involved in the process, right? And you wait. You know, it's you have a higher level of appreciation when you need to wait it out and go through the whole process and
every year, George, I've got 4 or 5 baking in the oven, like somebody's pregnant making my watch. And some of the greatest watchmakers on earth. I'm very excited. I'm having dinner with Roger Smith this week. My time is coming. I've been working and thinking which series, what elements
you and I have discussed what to get.
Yep. I mean, I'm really excited about that, but I have a constant flow of new pieces, but they're out 3-4 years.
Right. Where did the whole red band theme come from? Red rubies, red. How did that all start?
17 years ago, we had a change in wardrobe on Shark Tank. And a new woman came in. She's brilliant. And in the second season, I think it was, I came to the set with just a black band. She said, Kevin, you're the red band guy. We need continuity. You got the red poof, you got the black tie, you got the white shirt, you got that Shark Tank look, but there's always a red band. You can't. I said, well, you mean I can't wear this watch? They said, no, you got to go back and tell them you need a red band. In fact, a 485 Pantone red band. I said, oh, right down to the Pantone red? I said, the leathers are sometimes a little different. She said, okay, I'll give you some flexibility, but most of these are 485 Pantones. And she started this thing, and it just went around the world. And the guys at Rubber Bee, who do a lot of my custom bands, tell me their red production is off the charts. And so I'm very proud of it because I actually think red is a striking color, works with so many dials. You can see it working here. And I wear 2 watches all the time now, and they're red bands. They're just red bands.
Right, you've now become known globally as the guy with the red bands.
Every once in a while at home, maybe I'll wear, like a steel band or something, but not when I'm on television, ever. It's always red bands.
Love it. Let's go to these two watches here, Japanese made. You know, we've been talking about Switzerland, Geneva. So here we have Grand Seiko High Beat, called the High Beat because it's 36,000 vibrations per hour, where your average watch is 28.8. Frequency creates accuracy. Striking blue dial here, red sweeping seconds hand. Talk about this one.
Yeah, so this is known as the Superman. What happened to me a few years ago, and it was a fair criticism from some of the people around Shark Tank, said to me, you know, Kevin, this thing you're doing on Shark Tank with the two watches, the red bands, every piece is unattainable. I mean, why does every watch you wear have to be unattainable? The show is about inspiration of young people to become entrepreneurs, and yet you have watches that nobody else can have. Do you see anything wrong with that? And I said, you know what, you're right. Given that I wear two, why don't I have inspiration on the left and attained, you know, history on the right? Aspiration, yeah. You know, it's sort of like, and that's what we got into. And so I reached out to brands like Seiko, Grand Seiko, and then to Adam Bossi at Tudor. I said, I got this dilemma. I want great dials, I want great quality, and I want to bring millions of people that are in their 20s into watch collecting, and I need entry-level pieces. And I said, I don't want boring crap. I want good stuff. And so Adam was great. The Seiko people, the Grand Seiko people were great. The Longines people were great. The Omega people were great. They understand my dilemma. And so I am now all about both sides of the equation. And so the Superman is one of the greatest dials money can buy at a really affordable price. I think this watch is sub $4,000, maybe $6,000 now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the polished steel, George, is extraordinary.
Yeah.
The blue dial
alternating finishes.
These Grand Seiko guys make incredible dials. And so you see this watch from across the room. It's spectacular. The accuracy isn't crazy. And I want to say something about the Japanese watchmaking, because I've gone far deeper down that road as well into Credors, which we'll talk about in a minute. The quality of these pieces rivals anything the Swiss make.
Yes, yeah.
So when mothers or fathers ask me, what should I get for my son for graduation? You know, I want something I can afford. I steer them into these watches. These last a lifetime.
They're a tremendous value, extremely reliable.
And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love my Grand Seikos, but again, getting to know the brand, I went to Tokyo, then I learned about Credor. Let's go to that next.
So we go from more attainable to highly unattainable. You could even double wrist your two Grand Seikos, and you could fit your
I have
theme.
two Credors as well.
So this particular one, the Credor Eichi II, the blue dial. So hand painted porcelain dial, strikingly beautiful. You have somebody over in Japan in their, master workshop.
Hand painting it.
Oh man, just
slaving
over this.
Look at how it's luminescent.
Yeah.
How did they do that? Because of the molecules of blue are thinner at the edges over the white enamel. It's so hard to do that.
The depth of it is insane. It looks like water even.
Yeah, it's amazing. And of course, as I call the crunch factor, feel that dial. Just feel winding that, the crunch factor.
Yeah.
Isn't that perfect?
Yeah.
So it's a very clean watch. But what happened to me, I went to the store, the main Grand Seiko store in Tokyo, and they had a small section of Credors. I saw that piece and I said, I have to buy that. I have to own it. I'll buy it now. And the saleswoman began to process the order. And then the manager came over and said, Kevin, I'm sorry, I cannot sell you that piece because one of our collectors, a Japanese collector, asked me to hold it for him to decide if he's going to buy it. And we honor that here for up to 3 months. And I said, the guy has not bought it. He doesn't know if he's going to buy it. I'm a known collector. You know I have a Credor. You know I don't flip watches. And I can't buy that watch? He said, no, you can't. You understand honor here in Japan? I said, I understand it, but the honor is for me to walk out of the store with that on my wrist. And we went through a long negotiation. And
I don't take you as somebody who accepts no very easily.
So what actually happened was my phone rang and an executive from headquarters said, time for you to walk out of the store. And I understood what he meant. And when I arrived back in Miami, he was waiting for me.
Aha, nice. Very cool.
It's just the way they do things.
That is great.
And I have so much respect for that.
That's a great story.
And
it's awesome.
it's and just because they wanted to make sure that everybody in the equation, after all, collectors, we all know each other, we have to honor each other. But now I've learned about the way things go in Tokyo. So I've been there multiple times since, I'm really becoming a collector of Credor. I mean, look at that, George, look at that.
No, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. Yeah. So you have a couple of vintage pieces here.
Yeah.
I'm eager to hear the story behind these, okay? So here's a vintage Seiko.
Yes, yes.
Tell me, how'd you get this
that's
one?
a 1952 Seiko. So here's how it happened. I get a phone call one day from a director, a movie director named Josh Safdie, who I knew because he did an Adam Sandler film called Uncut Gems. He said, Kevin, we have a new movie called Marty Supreme we're shooting, and there's a role for this guy in it. He's the richest man in America in 1952, and he's a real asshole, and you're him. I said, thank you very much. Thank you very much. He said, that guy on Shark Tank, Ronnie Brostein's the author. He's a maniac for Shark Tank. And Ronnie said, I want to write this role for Mr. Wonderful. So I said, guys, I'm not an actor. I don't read and learn scripts. He said, yeah, you're going to do this. So they flew up to my lake house where I was last July, and Ronnie came, the producers from A24, and we started reading the script together, and I'd never done this before. And as I read it, my wife was on the upper deck, and I was downstairs just reading in the role. And I said, if I was the richest man in America, married to Gwyneth Paltrow, who was my wife in this movie, and I'm fighting with her, I wouldn't say that. I would say this. He said, okay, let's change it. And then the more I got into it, we started rewriting my role a little bit, and I totally got into it. And I said, by the way, if I was the richest man in America, I'd have 2 watches on. Why would I only have 1 watch? He said, okay, you have 2 watches on, because we're kind of making it up as we're going. And then I said, wait a sec, I got to have original vintage pieces made in the 40s and 50s, and I'm going to wear, because the movie's shot in New York and Tokyo and London and Paris, so when I'm in Tokyo, I want to have a Seiko. So I called my good friends at Seiko, said, here's the dilemma. He said, well, those watches are museum pieces. I mean, this one actually has a Japanese flag on the back. They just finished the Second World War. So I said, look, guys, I have to buy it. I have to own it. I don't rent watches. Like, I'm not going to wear a watch in a movie and not own it. He said, it's impossible. I mean, we don't sell watches out of vintage collections like this. 2 days later, it arrived in New York as a gift.
So another cool story.
Another cool story.
Amazing.
I'm honored to have that. And of course, they know I'm honored. And that watch is going to be very famous when the movie comes out this Christmas. But also on my left is a Patek Philippe.
I was going to go there next.
1948.
Vintage to modern Patek.
Let's the dial on that, George. Look at the dial on it. Look how insane it is.
Love the case shape.
Yeah.
Love the case shape. Love the crystal.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's like split in 2.
Yeah.
Has like a peak to it.
Now I had to go deep dive to find that. I purchased that in the aftermarket after a very long negotiation. We had to make sure everybody knew that it wasn't in the movie before I bought it, because the price is going to go up through the roof. That watch has a role in the movie, and it's a dark, dark scene, a nasty, nasty scene. And so this is a...
I'm eager to see it now.
No, the movie is yeah. I mean, I was reading the lines in Tokyo just a few weeks ago when we were shooting there, and I said to Ronnie, I can't say this, Ronnie. I can't say this. He said, you can. It's 1952. You're going to say these lines. Remember, we have a contract with you. You're going to say these lines. I said, I can't say these lines. He said, you're going to say the fucking lines. And excuse my French. But, I said the lines, and I thought to myself, I'm going to go to hell now.
Like, is this your first acting appearance?
Yes, and I've actually seen, with my daughter, we went to see the Rough Cuts. It is surreal to see yourself. I have hair in this movie. Yeah. It's surreal to see yourself on the big screen. It's the weirdest, it's just, and then the 2 watches. Like, I'm looking at it and saying, wow, look at those watches. It's great. The whole thing is,
Can't wait to see it.
You can't make that stuff up.
You're a real life character. Now we're going to see you on film
I'm
too.
proud of my work there.
Let's talk about the modern Patek 7968 that you have.
Well, I think this is one of the first that came to America, and of course they thought of me because of the red band for Shark Tank, and I think it's 3 years ago. I don't know when it was released, but this is probably one of the first that came in. I loved the piece. I'd already had the rainbow. My wife Linda went out of her mind when she saw it, and I said, "No, I'm sorry, no." I have to keep saying you can't wear my pieces, you know. My son loves it. Everybody loves this piece. It's factory red, and Asia loves this piece.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, it's hot everywhere.
Yeah.
Patek bought a gem setting company in 2022, so they're doing more and more gem set pieces, and they do it as tastefully as anybody.
I think the work is spectacular.
It's as good as
I mean, it's as good as Rolex on the jewelry side, as good as Cartier, as good as Chanel. You know.
Interestingly, I was with Thierry Stern last week in Florida, and he was saying they were having a very difficult time getting high quality
sourcing stones.
Yeah,
yeah, I've heard that story
stones.
as well. So getting these pieces, I think, is great. It's one of my go-to pieces when I'm in Las Vegas or in Los Angeles or in New York. I just think it's so comfortable.
That's another one you need a security guard with.
Yeah, he's got to have a machine gun. It's like, this is ridiculous what's going on in these major cities. But again, why you need WonderCare watch insurance. But it's kind of like, I just think it's elegant. You can wear it with a tux, you wear jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then, of course.
You're breaking your rule, though, of having, you're flexing on both wrists right now.
Yes.
This is another flex.
Now, you know the story of this piece. What makes this, you know, I'm so down the rabbit hole on Journe, it's ridiculous. But when it came time for this caliber, I said to FP, look, I need it to have a red K at the 12. He said, it's not possible. I said, I also need it to have my name engraved on the back. He said, that's not going to happen. I said, I think it has to happen. It has to happen. I don't care what the timeline is.
Again, you not accepting no.
No, I just think you know this watch. I mean, is that not one of the most beautiful?
Well, when you first told me earlier, you were like, "This is a one of one." I said, how is it a one of one? And I didn't see the K at first. Now
I don't think they will ever do that again in the dial factory. It's just too time consuming. Believe me, it's caused them headaches with other collectors. Said, look, my name is Ronald. I want an R.
Right.
And I think they've shut all that down.
Right.
But
right on the Fume enamel subdial. This is a super cool watch. You know, I've always said that this is an abnormal Journe because when I think of Journe, I think of a very thin watch, super wearable, with a gorgeous dial.
And I love those too, like the blue.
Right. And this is quite thick.
It's an alarm clock.
And it doesn't even have a dial. I mean, it has a beautiful Fume enamel subdial for both the seconds and the time, but then it's just the base plate for the main part of the dial. And when it first came out, people were confused by it, and it's just another one where it's a major acquired taste. I mean, I was taken back by it and didn't love it at first, and now I really do.
I could tell you within the Journe community, though, particularly the Journe Society, it's a must-have piece. Everybody wants to eventually get one in their collection. It's tough to get one. It takes a while. But I'll tell you a great story about that piece. Yeah, it is. I was sitting on an Emirates flight, New York to Abu Dhabi, and the woman beside me, it was on my right wrist, and she looked at it and said, "What is that?" I said, "What, you mean what brand?" She said, "No, what is that? Like, you can't tell time with that." I said, "No, I can't. I don't tell time with it. I have my phone if I want to tell time." This is a piece of art.
Yeah.
This is an actual Journe. FP Journe is the living Picasso of watchmaking right now.
Yes.
That's what he is. And there's going to be a time when he's no longer with us. There'll be pre and post Journe pieces.
Right.
And so I get every piece I can get. I take every piece I can get. My collection's growing. You know, I'm very, very fortunate, but
you got in just at the right time. I remember the whole story.
I'd
when
like
you got
to think
the 4 pieces.
yeah.
That never would happen again.
It never happened before.
Yeah.
Not from them. But he
And,
said, you can't join the society unless you have at least 4. I said, okay, I'll take 4. and one of them was the number 6 New York. I mean, that was impossible to get, you know. And anyways, it was
I would not want to be on the other side of you in a debate. Wouldn't be fun.
No, but it was really. I just love these pieces for what they are. They're your wearable art. That's what they are.
Right,
So it's a great piece.
Speaking of wearable art, let's go to the other bracelet watch that you have here.
Yes.
So this is one of the most talked about different Rolexes that's come out in the last
How many have you
several years.
seen, George? How many have you seen?
Very few. We're fortunate to be a large partner of Rolex, and we've only gotten on one hand.
Yeah.
On one hand, super different. The puzzle day date, emoji day date. Talk about this watch. Like when you first saw it, what were your thoughts, and why did you want to have it?
So it was a time when Rolex was going through some major changes. They wanted to embrace a new generation of watch collectors, and in a more whimsical way, a more open way, a more social media way. As you know, the company's very conservative. The actual experience of seeing the puzzle for the first time, you want to capture that on film, and we did. It has since become, for me, the most storied piece in terms of when people see this on my wrist, they go out of their minds.
Yep.
Women and men, they go out of their minds. And first they say it's fake. First, when this watch was rumored, it was thought to be April Fool's,
Right.
a joke.
Right.
And I quickly made a couple of calls, and it was real. I said, wow, it is a beautiful, beautiful piece.
One of the rarest and most coveted Rolexes in current production now.
Yeah, I just think.
I actually have never even seen a white gold one in person, ever.
Yeah.
I've seen the rose, I've seen the yellow, obviously, but never even
I
seen
actually
the white.
like the yellow, but you'd like the one you get for sure, because you're not going to get another one. When it was time to choose a watch for the white party, I wore this.
Couldn't go red band at that one?
This is not one you put a red band on.
Right.
And a lot of work I do is with Rubber B. They're so good at integration. But
that's a perfect segue into this one.
Yeah.
So now we go to, I was about to say baby brother, but the Tudors really started to make a name for themselves with watches like this. So we have the Black Bay Chrono, Flamingo blue dial, which is very striking. This watch is a tremendous value. It's actually a modified Breitling B01 movement that Tudor has altered. They have a 45-minute counter for the chronograph instead of 30 minutes, and they actually put a silicone hairspring in here that's anti-magnetic. So in addition to being very striking and cool looking, it's an extremely well-made watch mechanically too. Looks good on the red. At first it's like, does it work? But I think it does.
So I went to see Adam Bossi, who's the president of the Americas, at the Meatpacking District store. I've never met a salesman like that. He sold me 3 pieces in an hour. And I mean, I was walking out there with bags full of watches because I fell in love. I mean, he really told the story well. He convinced me that I should get into it. And I was already predetermined to find great entry level. This is a $6,700 watch.
Even less, actually.
It's a spectacular piece.
Yep, striking.
Now, I have modified, I have done the integration with Rubber B for, this is going to be on Shark Tank season 17. Listen, I don't own any of Rubber B. I'm not a paid spokesperson. I have no relationship with them other than I appreciate their art. That integration is spectacular. It looks like it was made for the watch because it was.
Yep, no gaps.
And I'm going to be wearing both the pink and the blue simultaneously. What I want to hand it to Tudor for making a great job in understanding where men want to go with color and style and fashion at an affordable price.
Yep, they're doing great things.
Yeah, they're doing great things.
And I can speak to, Adam's a close friend of mine. I've known him for close to 20 years now, and he definitely can sell a ketchup popsicle to a man in white gloves without it.
He is amazing, but he also knows his stuff. Like the guy knows
He really
every
does.
caliber,
Yep,
every
everything.
metal,
Yep.
every case.
He'll break it down for you as much
So
as you want to.
When you go into a Tudor boutique, say, is Adam Bossi here?
Yeah, exactly. Get him behind the counter.
Yeah.
He would do it.
No, he's great. He's absolutely great.
All right, let's go to the Moser Vantablack Turb. So how did you get connected with Moser? What made you choose the Vantablack Turb out of all of their offerings? I do think it's probably one of the things that they're most well known for.
Yeah, that dial is very unique. So a few years ago, I was a keynote at watch time. And we were talking about dials, and I decided to take a break and go walk some of the smaller watchmakers, and Moser had a boutique there, and that was just released, I think. And I saw it and I said, okay, that dial's crazy. That's a tourbillon, pure, simple, beautiful, balanced, and it's gonna look great with a red band on it. And I said, okay, guys, I mean, that's for me. I'll let you guys design the band. It's gotta be red. That is a Shark Tank watch if I ever saw one, because the camera and the lights, love it. It's just beautiful. And of all the Mosers, and I love the company, the two brothers, but there is no piece like that one. That says Moser without, you don't even see the brand name anywhere.
Simplicity.
The simplicity of it. So I mean, it's a great piece. They've done a great job. I know you do a lot of work with them. And I guess the 1916 company, you're one of the biggest dealers.
Yes, we are. Yeah, they're great. The two brothers are very approachable, very humble, very hardworking. They've done a great job with the brand, and they don't take it too seriously.
I like that about them, but they also are very high quality manufacturers and provide elements of calibers for other companies.
Yes, they make hairsprings. That's one of the things they
Which is not easy to do.
They sell hairsprings to a lot of premier manufacturers.
But I love their whole attitude. I'd love to see them at Watches and Wonder. I have a lot. You know what I find about their community is, this is one of the things, George, we haven't talked about in watch collecting, is there's a community of people all around the world. The minute they see your piece, you're part of their community. It's just an amazing thing. Doesn't matter what race, what religion, what language, what city, and we do these amazing dinners. Moser does one every year. It's just people from all around the world, and we share this common disease, watch collecting, the virus of watch collecting.
Right.
Every time I bring another piece like this back to the house, my wife goes nuts saying, what? Another watch? Where are you going to put that? There's no more room in the safes anymore for this stuff. I said, look, I couldn't help myself. I had to buy this one. But I also say this to everybody, never borrow money to buy a watch. You have to earn it. You have to buy it with cash, not on debt, and buy what you can afford and build your watch collection as you build your life.
Yeah, good advice.
That's it.
Yeah, don't go in too deep, too soon.
Yeah, some of these watches are crazy expensive. If I didn't make the money, I would never buy them.
I'm a major watch nerd and genuinely love watches and would talk mechanics and the parts and until the end of time. But the best thing about watch collecting is the people. Like you said, brings together people from all different backgrounds, all different places of the world, and
all these relationships.
Yeah,
the Journe guys are nuts.
Yeah,
I love those guys.
It's like a cult.
It is a cult. It's a crazy. A lot of them are Patek collectors too. There's all kinds of people in these groups. It's great.
So let's go to another independent watch brand. A guy who used to be at MB&F and now off on his own. Simone Brette. So. I know you had some involvement in this one too. You were telling me about the red numbers on the chapter ring here.
He made 3 prototypes, the first in titanium. He's known for all of the artists he works with, up to 14 for each piece. The dials are just, I mean, either you like it or you don't. It's just a piece of art. It looks like a modern art. He only makes one a month. It's a challenge. He works in a tiny space smaller than this room. And the only way to get one is to go see him in Geneva and negotiate. But he does a lot of background checking on, are you a collector? Are you in good standing? I find his dials, I said to him, Simone, I'm gonna need some elements of red. And he said, well, I think I can do the outer numerals in red. I gotta check with the artist. And I think I waited year and a half for this piece, but it's so stunning.
It's amazing when you go over there and see the small little workshops, isn't it?
Looking at it reminds me, I brought my 94-year-old Swiss stepfather with me, and he was fascinated in meeting him and seeing the workbench. And then he said to Simone, Simone, you're not charging enough for this piece. Kevin would pay twice that. I said, thanks, Dad. That's very useful.
You had already locked in the price though, right?
Yeah, a long time. For these kinds of watches, you actually send the money 2 years early so he can afford to keep going. So, I mean, I've got 2 more pieces coming from him in the next 24 months. I want all the metals. I want to get the gold, I want to get the steel, whatever he's doing.
Very cool.
I don't think anybody has 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, how many watches has he made in entirety?
Probably less than 80.
Right, right. Okay, so let's move on to a company that has certainly made more than 80 watches. However,
Millions, right?
However, the demand through the roof on them definitely exceeds the supply.
You asked me to bring 15 pieces, and I was going through all my Rolexes saying, George has seen every Rolex. What Rolex would really be,
Special.
Very special.
Right.
Because, I love my rainbow.
You brought two of the most special ones, for sure.
And I think that is a crazy piece.
It's amazing.
You can't even tell the time. It's so blinged out. You need sunglasses to look at.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It's dripping in diamonds.
The Tiger Eye Daytona.
Yeah.
Arguably the most iconic, historic model of all time, and an incredible canvas. And they continue to do cool and different things. And this is definitely an awesome variation of it. So.
I've had a chance to go to various functions that are, in fact, even testify in the Senate. That piece is a mind blower on television.
You testified?
I haven't worn it yet, but I'm going in on April and for another committee meeting. I really support a lot of entrepreneurship in America, so when they get involved in that, I'm thinking about that piece because it's I wore it on Shark Tank, and the cameraman that shoots me has been doing it for 17 years, said, I have never, ever seen a watch like that, because the way they've set the diamonds captures the light from any angle, and you get these bursts off your wrist. He said it's insane. He said,
how long in advance do you pick out your watch before you go to an event?
I wear 6 pieces a day, 2 in the morning, 2 at noon, and 2 at night. So I'm traveling with anywhere from 17 to 25 pieces. Again, why I wanted WonderCare, so I could just insure those ones.
So when you go on public television tonight, do you have those 2 already picked out? Or?
Yes, and I also know, because I keep a schedule. Last time we did that show, last time I was on CNN, I wore those 2. So I'm going to wear something different, because some of the hosts have got to know me, and they like to do the wrist twists on TV.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's cool. You're known for it.
Yeah, no, it's great. And so I think I'm going to go a little flashy and trashy tonight, because I'm doing a lot of networks tonight. But I'm thinking, I'm going to get blinged out because I'm in New York and we're celebrating a great day. I just find this dial is like no other on earth. It's just a crazy piece.
All right, let's go to another watch that has a lot of rage in a very good way. The Cartier Crash, which has become incredibly popular. Obviously, a very unique, distinctive case shape. They've been doing it for a long time, and I would say it's probably never been as hot as it is right now. Talk about this version. This is another one of one?
Yeah. No, it's actually, they've made 2. One is in the museum. I believe that's the only one in North America. They will make 60. They say they will. When, you don't know.
Of this exact variation?
Yes, of that exact variation. It's not a piece unique, but it is. I mean, there's no ordering a crash.
Right.
Like it's. Are you a Cartier customer from way back? Mm-hmm. Are you a watch collector? Have you expressed the thing about a piece like this, George, is you only ask once. You don't bug them. You let them know in Paris you're interested in the piece and that you have a place for it in your collection, and you have a place for it in fashion and in culture and where it would fit in what I do on social media but they don't need to promote this watch.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's a weird thing to understand, and you of all people would understand. The psyche of a brand like Cartier is not about this quarter or this year or this decade. It's long term, and they want to populate their customers and their collectors with pieces that are really appreciated. I love this piece. I think it's so unique on the wrist. It's very difficult to tell the time with a skeleton crash. Mm-hmm. Who cares?
Right. How long after you expressed interest in getting a crash did you get the call or notice that you could get one?
I talked to Wardrobe about it 2 years ago for Shark Tank, because I select about 15 pieces for the show. And I have to go through approval processes, and I pair them with the head of wardrobe, and we discuss these things, as I do for everything I'm wearing, the shoes and everything else, and the women go through the same process, the cufflinks, the pen, all that stuff. And she said to me, I think the crash would be crazy. I mean, it would be a crazy camera piece on your right wrist. So I said to them, look, is there any way we can get delivery of it before June or September when we shoot the blocks of Charté? And Paris considered it, and then they said, when are you next in New York? And I said, why? They said, oh, come on over, we'll just talk about it. There it was.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
you've had a lot of cool deliveries.
that was a unique delivery. This piece is a showstopper in terms of man on the street.
Right.
It's the first thing, is that a crash? Yeah. Is that the platinum crash? Yeah. How did you get that watch?
Right.
That kind of thing. Right. So I mean, I'm very. This is I don't know. I look at it now. I mean, they're all. It's like your children. Who's your favorite child? It's very hard to say.
Right.
When you pick it up, you remember. Oh my goodness, crash. Every crash has the dent. This dent is from the original damaged watch in the legendary car accident, the crash. It's very interesting.
All right. Well, that takes us to our last watch, which is another distinct case shape that has become quite iconic. They've branded themselves as one of the ultimate sports watches. Here we have a Richard Mille. So what made you choose this RM 6701?
It's a great question. So what happened with RM, they are bombastic watches. They have a big profile. They make a statement from a mile away, and they've made many successful pieces by being exactly that. Outspoken, incredible designs. Unfortunately, that doesn't always work on television. If the watch is bigger than the set, that's the expression, and the RMs are. The RMs, that's all you look at, which is not what the producers want. They don't mind a great piece, but you can't steal the show. RM steals the show on TV. Until this thin profile, which they're having a very hard time making, this beautiful titanium watch is elegant. It's definitely RM. It looks great on camera. It has a fantastic red band, and Wardrobe approved it right away. After years of saying, look, I got to get an RM in here, they said, well, it's not the RM show, it's Shark Tank.
Right.
And so it's
makes sense.
And so this is one of my favorite. It's a great piece. It's elegant. It also goes great with jeans. I mean, you like RMs.
Yeah, no, they're incredibly wearable.
Yeah.
That tonneau case shape has become, extremely well known and recognizable. I mean, if you look from across the room, you can tell that that's an RM without seeing Richard Mille on the dial.
Yeah, so. and I think that's kind of what you want. And so, in reality, we've gone through a selection of the collection, so to speak, but I think these watches tell a story in every case, and they're all different. They're striking enough that you see something different in every dial, and that's exactly what I'm trying to achieve. I'm a curator of a museum of art. Yeah. That's what I am.
No, you've done an amazing job. It's awesome hearing the stories, but very versatile collection, and I know this is only a segment of your incredible collection. I appreciate
we'll
you
do more.
Bringing it out.
I'd love to, there's so much more to do, and every year there's the new pieces and the new stories, and I think it's wonderful because people that are learning, whether they're just starting out or are trying to augment their collections with new ideas, because that's really what I do. What's a new idea? And that's, anyways.
I had somebody ask me just the other day, what's your next piece? And I said, I have no idea. And that's what's cool. I mean, there's a bunch of watches I like and that I would want to own, but I haven't honed in yet. And I'm sure I will.
I'll know when I see it. I'll know when I see it, and then I'll just find a way to get it.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
George.
Kevin. That was a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
Appreciate it.
Great.
Take care.